Hi, I'm Euan.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is
Popcorn and Cumin, a transatlantic dive into film and media.
With a healthy side of unrelated nonsense. Hi, and welcome to Popcorn and Cumin.
Today we'll be talking about
Mean Girls.
the
Musical. Movie.
Yay!
Nice.
I am very excited to talk about this one. So we can go through sort of the Mean Girls story where it started out as a movie from...
Well, I think it was originally a book that was adapted into a movie.
Oh yeah, isn't it? It's a book. Queen Bees and Wannabes was the book. And then the movie came out in...
2004.
Okay, the movie came out in 2004, and then it was adapted into a musical by Tina Fey, which is kind of cool, who was in the original movie.
Well, I think she also wrote the original movie.
She did?
Like, I think she did the screenplay with Amy Poehler.
How come Amy Poehler is in the movie, isn't she?
The original, yeah.
Yeah, she's Regina's mom. Okay, you're right. Yeah, so she did...
Don't question my film knowledge. I know everything.
So Tina Fey did the screenplay for the original movie, and then she wrote the musical. Did she do the book and...
I think just the book. I don't think she did the music.
She
doesn't have a musical bone in her body, and that's why she didn't do any of the songs.
Okay. So then it was a Broadway musical, and now it's back to a movie. A movie as a musical.
And a West End musical.
Yeah, well, coming to the West End
Broadway.
Soon.
As of time of recording, perhaps when you're listening to it, it's been and gone from the West End.
Probably not, because I don't think it comes until June.
Yeah, people might be listening to this years in the future.
That's true. But yeah, that is the story of Mean Girls, and...
You didn't discuss Mean Girls 2.
There's a Mean Girls 2?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, I don't know if there's
Do you know anything about it?
I think I've seen it.
What?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Grease 2?
No, because I haven't seen that. There's definitely a Mean Girls 2, but I'm not sure if there's really any connection to the first one, apart from maybe... Actually, I think maybe it's like there's a new group of plastics that they have to overcome. But
The cycle
feel like
continues.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those teen movie things where they're just like, well, there's no real opportunity to do a sequel here, and all the people we cast in it originally are now too expensive for us to do it, but we can cast a bunch of no-name actors and maybe one prominent one, and people will come see it and we can make some money from it. Mean
Girls 2 has a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's probably better than the original, though. Right?
No, absolutely not. Okay, but anyway, before we get into the 2024 Mean Girls movie, we have to do our segment. Euan, come up with a good name for the segment right now. Segment.
Cross-border factoids with Euan and Sarah.
Okay. All right, what is your factoid?
Well, I'm not sure if this would necessarily be classed as a difference, because I need to sort of bounce this off of you to see if this is...
And for new listeners, this is differences between Scotland and the...
Or just the UK at large.
The UK and the United States.
Ahead of our pre-Scottish independence, there's maybe less cultural differences on some things than there might be post it. Who knows?
Are you saying in the future Scotland will have independence and then be...
Everything will be independent of something in the future, I think. One day the sun will explode and take the whole world with it.
Oh my gosh. So. Okay, what is your difference?
Well, this is more a thing in British culture that I've noticed, where... Now, I'm not even sure if you'd classify it as a celebration of British things, but there's just a general celebration in British culture for things that aren't very good, but people really like them. And it's kind of like inexplicable. So I've got some examples of this. Weatherspoons, people are just really inherently biased in my experience to be like, oh, let's go to Spoons, and it becomes a sort of jovial and congratulatory and joyous thing, and everyone is really like all down for it.
What is Weatherspoons for people who don't know?
Weatherspoons is a pub chain. So there's a bunch of there's hundreds probably Weatherspoons in the UK, and they're all owned by the same people. So it's like a franchise, I think. I'm not entirely sure how the ownership model works, but they basically all have the same kind of menu, And then some Weatherspoons are nicer than others, as there's one in Edinburgh, which is it's in what was a former theatre.
Picture House?
Yeah.
The Cayley Picture House? Is that
I think
right?
it's Cali Picture House.
No.
Yeah.
Cali? C-A-L-E-Y
like Caledonia.
Is Cali?
I don't know.
Maybe.
People have always referred to it as Cali Picture House, in my experience, but maybe they're wrong.
Well, not me.
But that one is nice aesthetically to be in. The only way it could be improved if it was not a Weatherspoons, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if people like Weatherspoons just because, again, it's this sort of celebration of mediocrity that people like to do in the UK, or if it's because you can order things on your phone without having to go up to the bar or something. But it's hard for me to work out.
I think it's just because it's cheap.
Well, it is kind of cheap, but
it's quite cheap.
We just went to a Weatherspoons, and I in London, and London going out to get a round of drinks in, that could bankrupt you. So there was a pint there at the Weatherspoons we went to in London that was about £4, which for our non-London based listeners, that is a good deal. You snap your hand off in most pubs for that. Yeah. And I got a pint of this £4 substance, and it was horrible. I took one sip, and
not good.
I took one sip,
but it's cheap.
But I took one sip and immediately thought I want something else. But then I'd committed my £4, and then the next pint I got of something that I wanted was like £6. So
and they have cocktail pitchers that again are really inexpensive, but in my experience they just taste like sugar. I think they put hardly any alcohol in them, and they're just, I don't know, I think they taste kind of disgusting. Yeah.
But we can move from the Weatherspoons examples, because some other examples of this thing in British culture is also Nando's, which I'm not actually sure if it is a British chain of chicken-based restaurants, but is largely like not very good, and everyone just loves it. It's like, oh, let's go get Nando's, and then there was the whole like cheeky Nando's.
I think you're gonna offend a lot of people right now.
Yeah, so well, if you're going to Nando's all the time, just go somewhere else. Unless Nando's want to sponsor us, that's fine. then I'll eat some Nando's. But you can get better food elsewhere. Unless I just haven't given Nando's enough of a chance. But
I don't know. I went there recently, and it was like, I've been there only twice in my life.
Yeah.
And both times I thought, well, the first time I thought it was just like kind of meh. The second time I was like, all right, well, this is all right. I think it's kind of like almost fast food style, but you're paying more than you should for fast food, I think.
Yeah, and that's like the worst thing of all.
Well, yeah.
That's like Five Guys as well.
Yeah.
Where it's fast food level quality, but gourmet restaurant prices. And the final example I can think of is Greggs, which is, I know that's originally from the northeast of England. It's like a big chain of butcher/bakery things where they sell items such as pies, meat pies, sandwiches, hot or cold, or other meat-based.
They sell very British food. Like most of that stuff you wouldn't find rolls, at all in the meat pies and the sausage rolls.
And all those types of food I generally quite like, but generally speaking, if you want the worst one of those, you should go to it and get it from Greggs.
But again, it's cheap.
Yeah, but like,
and cheap
at
quality.
Some point you get what you pay for,
Well, exactly.
So, and again, there's just this sort of general congratulatory and celebration of Greggs, where really you should support your local butcher or baker who might,
or candlestick maker
or cobbler. Is there any examples in American culture of things like that where it's?
I feel like it is more specific to certain regions. Like, I feel like certain regions have kind of fast food places that, I know one. Oh my God. The Chick-fil-A. Mm-hmm. People they freaking love Chick-fil-A. And it's just like fast food chicken. I mean, I've only been there once, but also, they are homophobic. So don't go there.
Don't like that. The only American thing I can think of is like Coachella, which people like go nuts over, but by all accounts is rubbish. So
really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I've never been able to afford to go.
Yeah, well, my understanding is it's just full of like influencers and people compared to other types of music festivals where it's about people going for the experience and wanting to enjoy the music. It's more about, I have to be seen to be there. And it's full of like zealous celebrities and
or Stagecoach, where all of Bachelor Nation goes and then hooks up with each other and then talks about it on Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah, so people who don't know what the term Bachelor Nation is, maybe you just don't want to know. Quit while you're ahead.
Yeah. Okay, and like in California, some people might think that In-N-Out is a bit like, people love In-N-Out. I like In-N-Out.
It's not even so much about, like, something can be overrated and still be good, which is something I'll probably say frequently throughout the run of Popcorn and Cumin. But it's more just this, I don't know, this weird Britishism where people go like way overboard for things. I don't even really understand why. If I ever think of more examples to add to that list, I'll give an update.
Yeah, it's kind of a vague difference.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, maybe it was just an excuse for me to have a rant, Sarah.
Okay. Are you gonna ask me what mine is?
What's your difference, Sarah?
Mine. Okay. You know when you're a teenager, maybe more early, a tweenager, and you would knock on somebody's door and then run away and hide, and then they would open the door and there'd be no one there, and it'd be so funny, such a good prank. What do you call that in Scotland?
There's many different names for it that I've encountered in the UK, so I presume
okay.
There's knock door run.
Is this for Scotland or the UK? Because I think it's different between Scotland and England.
Well, I think it's probably more than that, because I can think of 3.
Yeah. Okay, so knock door run.
Yeah, knock door run, chappy.
Chappy.
Yeah, which is in reference to like chapping on a door.
I would never call it chapping on a door.
But that is an expression. Have you ever heard of that?
No, is that a British expression?
I presumably, yeah.
I'll come and chap on your door.
Well, for anyone who listened to our last episode and you was amazed by my great accent, Sarah's just demonstrated why I do the accents.
Let me try again. I have to get into it. I'll come and chap on your door.
Yeah, that was okay. That was okay.
That was more of my Hermione.
Yeah. Well, that's your whole range, is just doing Hermione.
No. Yo.
And the final name that I can think of is Ding Dong Ditch or something.
Okay, that's what I would call it.
Oh, okay. So
I think in America people generally call it Ding Dong Ditch or Doorbell Ditch.
Ding Dong is good. Yeah.
Ding Dong Ditch. Can you think of other ones in the UK?
No, those are the 3. I'm not even sure. Maybe I've heard of Ding Dong Ditch from you and I've just recalled that, but those are the 3 names for that very specific activity that I can think of. Well,
look at this list of what it's called.
One of them is knock off ginger. Why is it called that?
So I guess this is kind of the oldest version of it, is called knock off ginger or knock knock ginger or knock down ginger.
I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That seems mean.
But why?
I don't know. Yeah. I think there's like some nursery
knocky
rhyme.
9 doors.
So the knock knock ginger, knock down ginger, or knocky door ginger was used in parts of southern England, attested at least as early as 1967. In an English poem found in the Children in Poetry collection, there's a poem that says, "Ginger, ginger broke a winder, hit the window crack. The baker came out to give him a clout and landed on his back."
Do you know what a clout is?
Like a smack or something? Yeah. That's mean.
Well, he broke a window.
Why does he have to be ginger?
Rhymes with window, kinda.
No, it doesn't. Okay, some of the other ones. I've heard of Nicky Knocky 9 doors, which apparently is in Durham, but I've heard that from English people before. Knockador Run, I've heard that one as well. That's an England one. In Wales, I guess they say Bobby knocking.
Well, I said knock door run just before.
Oh, you did?
Knock-a-door run. Yeah.
Knock-a-door run, knock-door run. Knock-a-door dash in Liverpool.
Chicky Melly
in Scotland.
See, there's Chappy.
Chapdoor run, Chappy. Nick Knock Nanny in Oxfordshire, England. Just Nick Knock in Cornwall. That's lame. Cherry knocking is another British one. In Norway, they say ring pig.
Ring the pig.
In Coventry, they say rat-a-tat ginger. And yeah, that's...
In South Africa, they say tok-toki.
Yeah, that's fun. But anyway, yeah, there's lots of different ways to say ding-dong ditch, which I thought was very strange.
Yeah, well, it's a cultural phenomenon. It transcends cultural boundaries.
Well, it's just a silly little thing you do when you're a kid. I didn't
It's
realize it was such a like worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah, it's good, clean fun. It's like when you tap someone on the opposite shoulder from when you're standing on and they look the other way.
Well, yes, there you have it. There are your cultural differences for the day. Now moving on to talk about Mean Girls. What are your overarching thoughts? One-line review.
I liked it. Maybe more than the original, but maybe not.
What?
I'm not sure. I've seen the original a couple of times. We watched it fairly recently, and I also liked that. I think maybe this is an example of our previously long-running segment, Better as a Musical. Could be.
Yeah, we'll go through that in more detail later.
So what did you think, Sarah?
I liked it. No, I think overall I enjoyed it quite a lot more than I thought. And my main issue with it was, now I feel bad saying this because I know, actors are real people and I don't want to be mean to them. But my biggest complaint was the casting of Katie. I just think that she didn't really bring like much of anything to the role. It was played by Angourie Rice, who I didn't recognize, but I guess is in like some other stuff. But I feel like she's not well enough known that they cast her for it's not like a Emma Watson in Beauty and the Beast situation. So I just don't really understand why they cast her, because her singing, she sang in tune, but it was just a very sort of like weak and mild voice, which is also kind of what her portrayal of Katie was just kind of meek and mild for the whole time, Yeah,
there was no real transformation, and I feel like they could have done more, because I feel like she was definitely cast as this kind of plain looking avatar type person, but then they didn't really ever have her morph into this plastic character. I didn't really buy it by the end of the movie for her to then flip back, whereas in the original I think Lindsay Lohan's works a bit more.
Yeah, like you can see her descent into becoming a plastic, whereas in this one it just felt like Katie was just kind of meek and mild and meek and mild and meek and mild, and then like in a sort of a one-liner she was like, oh wait, now I'm mean, because she's like, can't sit with us or whatever, and then I was like, okay, well I guess now she's mean. But it didn't feel like a transition, and even when she turned into more of a plastic, I still didn't really believe it.
Yeah, I think also in this one, it felt like even though I think it's longer, they managed to not include more of the, I guess, like high school elements of it, where I think you get less interaction between Katie and the other plastics, so you don't really buy their friendship and her, or semi-friendship, and her becoming more like them, because you don't really see her interact with them all that much. Or when you do see her interact with them, it's in scenes where she's trying to undermine Regina because she's scheming with her actual friends. So
yeah,
you buy less that it's the plastics are like rubbing off on her.
Yeah. And even when she's scheming, she just doesn't have any kind of personality. I don't know. But my favorite part of the movie was Renee Rapp as Regina George. I thought
it was Kevin G.
No, that's your favorite part.
No.
I thought that she was phenomenal as an actor and especially as a singer. So Renee Rapp played Regina on Broadway.
I think she originated the role. She didn't originate the role.
She didn't.
I didn't think she originated the role.
But she was cast as Regina, I think, in 2019. And I think Mean Girls, it was started in 2016 or something like that. And
there's been Mean Girls since before 2016.
The musical, the Broadway musical.
Just to be clear.
But then she wasn't on Broadway that long before it got shut down because of COVID, which was rather sad. So I'm happy for her that she got to reprise her role as Regina in the movie.
Did she go back to it after COVID?
No, because it was supposed to be temporarily shut down, but then when theaters opened up again, they decided to just close the show on Broadway.
Oh.
Yeah, so, but Tina Fey, I guess, really liked Renee Rapp in the role and kind of fought for her to be the Regina for the film.
I thought she was really good as well. I liked her more than Rachel McAdams in the original.
Yeah, I think I do quite like Rachel McAdams in the original, but I feel like Renee Rapp brought more of a kind of like intimidation, and she was kind of scary at times. Like, I was afraid of Regina, but it was really good. Especially, okay, my favorite song was probably, I think it's called It's Fine for You. Do you know what I'm talking about? The scene at the Halloween party.
Yeah, the one when it like time stops.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good as well.
And apparently when, I don't think they do this with every song. I think it might only be for Renee Rapp songs, but I might be wrong. But they changed the aspect ratio to make it look more like a musical. Not a musical. A music video. So it lengthens. The aspect ratio lengthens.
Yeah, I'd noticed that as well. Like when she was singing for definitely that one, and then the opening one she does. I'm not sure what it's called. Is it called like I Am Regina George or something?
Oh yeah. My name is Regina George. That one?
Yeah.
And people were saying that they didn't know that it was a musical because there wasn't music in the trailers, but the first trailer for Mean Girls started with her singing My Name is Regina George, like just her lips singing that.
I think that is a thing that they're doing, though. They're like purposely trying to disguise musicals as not musicals to try and make people go to them. Because I think there's some people are biased against wanting to see a musical, but they would be okay with it once they're tricked into it, I guess.
You don't think then people would feel sort of betrayed and tricked and fooled?
Maybe a little bit, but they'd probably forget about it. That is definitely a thing that Hollywood's done in the past. I mean, whether or not this is a perfect example of it, I'm not sure, because I haven't 100% followed all of the promotional materials. I think that's sad that people are biased.
I mean, in the final trailer, I think maybe there wasn't, but there definitely was singing in the first trailer. And why would they make...
But trailers always have like music in it, so that maybe people would have just thought...
With someone singing it? It's her mouth singing My Name is Regina George. They think that they just did that in a non-musical?
Maybe.
Why is Regina George singing? Well, and why would they make a second Mean Girls just a repeat of the movie? If there's been a Mean Girls 2, then wouldn't they call this Mean Girls 3?
Well, they remake stuff all the time. I mean, it's been like 20 years. I feel like that's the minimum remake cycle period for a Hollywood movie, I think. So really people should have called it Mean Girls the Musical instead of just calling it Mean Girls.
Yeah, because it's just called Mean Girls like 2024, I think. Well, in parentheses, 2024. But really, it's Mean Girls, the movie musical. But
also, some people might go to the cinema having not seen any trailers or anything for it, and then you would be surprised because the original isn't a musical.
Yeah, I guess if it's not in the title. Did people think the same thing for Willy Wonka? Did they not know that was a musical?
Well, that was less of a musical than this, but...
Maybe. I mean,
there's a couple songs in Wonka. In fact, there's one song that they sing about 10 times, but...
They're like, it's chocolate. It's chocolate.
Yeah, that one.
It's a very bad song.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, considering it has been 20 years since the movie came out, I thought it was very impressive that Tina Fey and Tim Meadows reprise their roles, and they both look like almost exactly the same. Like, Tina Fey has not changed in 20 years, which is wild. But it's not like...
Lindsay Lohan
has a cameo in this.
She could reprise her role, because we don't know if that's Katie... I mean, she probably would have been like, as coincidence you are the same person as me. We don't know what the math judge's name is, so maybe that is her.
Oh, I see.
She left high school after being in disgrace after becoming a bully in the original Mean Girls and almost killing someone. And then the world of opportunities didn't really open up for her, and she was stuck being a mathlete judge forever.
Oh, that would be sad. So Lindsay Lohan plays the math judge in... Is it Math Judge?
mathlete
Yeah.
judge. Or I'm not sure if she's a judge because it's like
She's kind of like a
an
referee.
umpire.
Yeah. So when the mathlete team that Katie is in competes in the finals for something, Lindsay Lohan is the math referee lady person, which I thought was like a nice little cameo. There's a lot of cameos. So from the original movie, they're not even just cameos. We have Tina Fey and Tim Meadows playing the same characters. We have Regina George, played by Renee Rapp, who also played Regina George on Broadway. And then we also have the person who originated the Gretchen Wiener's role on Broadway is in it. Her name's Ashley Park, and she's in it as the French teacher. So she has a little cameo as well. I think that's it. But so in the sort of plastics group, the only one who doesn't have another actor who has played that role in the movie is Karen.
Who's Karen?
She's the dumb one.
Who was Amanda Seyfried. She was that was her in the original, right? Yeah.
And I thought the Gretchen, I was personally not a huge fan of, not Gretchen, of Karen in the movie version, in the one we just watched. I thought some of the jokes that were written for her were maybe funny than in the original one, but she kind of overplayed, like she always has this super dumb look on her face, and I thought it was just a bit over the top. What did you think?
I don't think I really liked Amanda Seyfried's character in the original either, so I feel like I think maybe I actually thought the jokes, maybe I thought they were actually funnier for her character in this one. I don't know overall if I would say it's funnier than the original, but I thought maybe her character was funnier than in the original.
Did you say you liked the sexy Halloween costume song?
I thought there was like a decent joke payoff, yeah.
I thought it was kind of funny but jarring that when she like sings, so that actress is Avantika Vendanapu, and I thought it was jarring but funny that she kind of drops the like dumb look that she has on the whole movie as soon as she starts like dancing and singing, and she turns much more confident and sexy and like a normal person. I don't know. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I guess that's probably what it would be like on the show as well. I don't know if that's meant to be more like her internal monologue, or
I thought it was supposed to be kind of a joke. Like maybe she tried to play the whole thing in character, but then they were like, this doesn't really work that well, and then she just drops character as kind of a joke. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What else? So Janice was played by Auli'i Cravalho, who is Moana.
The voice of Moana.
Yeah. And I love Moana, and I think she is amazing in Moana. But I thought she was also really good in this as Janice.
Yeah, Janice and is it Damien? Mm-hmm. I really like them in this version, maybe more than in the original, but I also like them in the original.
Yeah. It was hard for me because I've listened to the Mean Girls Broadway soundtrack a few times, and the person who plays Janice on Broadway is Wilbert Weed. So she plays Veronica in Heathers the musical. She originated the role of Veronica, and I just love her voice, and it's so powerful and amazing. And I thought Auli'i did a really good job, but I think that my standards were like too high to start with. But I quite liked her. I think her and Renee Rapp were my two favorites.
Maybe the movie would have been better if it was just Janice, and Regina the whole movie.
Yeah.
Just the three of them singing and dancing and being mean to each other.
And Tina Fey.
Yeah.
And Damien was played by Jaquel Spivey, who he originated the role of Usher in A Strange Loop and won a Tony or something for that.
Is Usher is he the lead in A Strange Loop?
I think so.
No, I thought he was really funny as well.
Yeah, but I appreciate that they get people from Broadway to star in the musical because they can actually sing.
Yeah. I suppose it'll be interesting to see how this does as from like a marketing point of view, because I think the reason why movie adaptations of musicals won't do that is because they need established actors to like sell it. So hence you end up with like Russell Crowe and Les Mis.
Yeah.
Although you would say the weakest person in this is the lead actor who doesn't even have any star power. So why did they do that? I don't know.
I mean, they had, I guess the biggest star is Tina Fey.
Yeah, Tina Fey or John Hamm are probably the biggest names, but he's
I
really
forgot
more
he
of
was
a
in it.
Cameo, yeah. So John Hamm plays the gym teacher. He only really has like one scene, right? But we were thinking at the time, was he in the original? Because it just seems like a random cameo for him to turn up in. But I mean, he's here and he's doing some stuff.
Exactly. Another, not like huge name, but The Summer I Turned Pretty was quite a big phenomenon, the book, and then it was turned into a show. And the person who played Aaron in this new adaptation of Mean Girls, Christopher Briney, he was in The Summer I Turned Pretty, and I think is fairly well known among that audience, which is not Euan, but is many of my friends.
I watched some of The Summer I Turned Pretty while you were watching it, and I thought it looked bad.
Well, I enjoyed it, so now you've got two sides of that. But yeah, what did you think of the songs in it? I think that they definitely cut down the number of songs from the Broadway show, but I personally think that they chose all of the best songs.
Well, I was looking at it and it looked like they cut loads of songs, which was like, for a movie musical, which seems like it has, the original musical has a lot of songs in it, it felt like they went quite long portions with there being any music in this. And also, sometimes they would do songs, it felt like the songs they did were like really abridged versions, because someone would start singing and then like a minute later it'd be over, which I haven't listened to the original soundtrack fully, but it felt like they were doing an abridged version. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. Most of the songs were good. Any song that was sung by the lead, I didn't necessarily think was bad, I just thought it was boring. Yeah. Whereas almost all of the other songs, because the performers were so good, it probably made that look even worse because they were so like forgettable in comparison. But
You should listen to the movie version of Katie's songs and then listen to the Broadway versions of the same song, and it is just, there is a significant difference in the power behind them and the energy. And yeah, they also changed a lot of the sort of the backing of some of the songs to make it more poppy and synthy.
Instead of like an orchestra, less orchestral.
But not even like a classical orchestra, like what you would think of an orchestra, but with, like guitar riffs and
rock and roll
people. But then in the movie, it was just for some of the songs.
Yeah, it could have been the sound system in the theater we were at, because they were having technical difficulties where they forgot to turn the lights off before.
And then someone told them to turn the lights off, and then the lights slowly got brighter and brighter, and I was like,
they're turning it the wrong way.
Do you have anything more to say before we go into our Better as a Musical segment?
I guess just on the lead stuff, I would be interested to know the creative decisions behind what their casting was, or not even necessarily their casting, because maybe it was just the way she was like directed to perform, but I can't remember any of her songs. I can't even like picture what they're called, whereas I feel like I almost remember every other song. So I think that's a sad indictment. The
only one I remember is when they're just sitting in math class, and then she's talking to Aaron, and then all of a sudden she's just like, when I was 9, something.
Oh yeah, no, that one was bad as well. So now I'm upset I remembered that.
But see, because I think people laughed at that and thought that it was like bad, but I thought maybe it was supposed to be kind of abrupt and funny and making fun of the fact that like movie musicals are jarring like that.
No, I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
And I just want to shout out Kevin G, who remains the best part of the Mean Girls universe. Very funny. He got a big laugh from me when he started trying to fight the other mathlete team at the end of the movie.
Yeah, no, that was good.
I actually think like Tim Meadows and Tina Fey, they could have been in it more, had more scenes, because I thought like whenever they were on screen, they were like very funny.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Yeah, I guess they showed some restraint in that, because they could have like overused them, but yeah, I wouldn't have minded having them more. And I suppose the one change from the original is that now they are together in the Mean Girls universe.
They're not together in real life or anything, are they?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't
But
think so.
They could be. Maybe they're having a secret affair.
Yeah. It just seemed like kind of a random change. I thought maybe it was, I don't know, referencing something. But anyway.
Is she divorced in the original? Or is she going through a divorce and then that gets put in the burn book as well? Or
She might mention something like that. I don't really remember.
The whole burn book thing, I have to say, it is like a little bit stupid, I think. So Tina Fey's character, Katie, has a conversation with her, and Tina Fey's her math teacher and says like your grades are slipping, but I'm a pusher and I'm gonna push you to doing better. And then Katie, at her probably worst moment, twists that into saying that she's like a drug pusher. But then they like actually invest. Like I always thought that was like really stupid.
Yeah.
Like they investigate her and she gets suspended from school because some idiot writes in a book that you like are pushing drugs. Where's the proper procedure? What is this, a banana republic where there's a kangaroo court? Accusations can fly around and there's no burden of proof on anyone.
I don't think they actually arrest her, but I think they investigate her.
Yeah, but she's suspended. It's like, well, if I don't have a teacher I like, I just say that they do X thing with no proof, and then they get suspended.
I don't know, maybe parents complain because they were like, my daughter said that her teacher is a drug pusher.
Maybe they should be complaining that their school is doing nothing to defeat the cliques that exist.
Yeah, well.
I mean, this is just a general comment on the idea of high school popularity as well, but I don't really understand like how do the plastics have social credit, because it's not really clear to me like why anyone would like them or care what they think. Is it like related to money? Or is it...
No, I think it's well, with Regina it's like you're supposed to kind of be afraid of her but also really want her to like you. Like she's mean, but because she's mean you seek her approval.
Yeah, but you'd think Regina's other friends would be more competent than they are. Like in Heather's, which we were making the comment that Heather's almost seems as if it's like a parody of Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Because it's much darker, and it's like, what if we did Mean Girls, but then they kill the Mean Girls?
Yeah.
But actually Heather's came before Mean Girls. In Heather's, spoiler for Heather's, when one of the Mean Girls dies, another Mean Girl takes over and she is even worse, or at least is like similarly like bad. Mm-hmm. And she kind of rules the school with an iron fist, whereas that wouldn't happen with the other Mean Girl. I suppose Katie maybe is meant to take that position, but like Gretchen, you see her, she's trying to like get the interest of some guy who they're making fun of for having a high voice, but she can't even like get him.
Yeah. But I think Regina purposefully surrounds herself with people who she thinks are inferior because she doesn't want to feel threatened, and she wants to basically be able to order them around.
Mm-hmm. You just think there would be more people in her group than just two other people? If she had to find people she thinks are inferior, she only came up with two people, you know?
Well, then three when Katie comes along.
That's true. But she bites off more than she can chew with Katie.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, I have nothing to say. I rest my case.
Okay. Okay, so now we get to go back into a segment we haven't done for a while, which is better as a musical. But in this case, we actually have the musical and the movie, and we get to definitively decide if it was better as a movie or as a musical.
Yeah, I'm going to say it was better because I thought it didn't really lose any of the comedic aspects of it or any of the plot, and I liked like 60% of the songs, so let's say it was better.
I think if you are just directly comparing the musical movie to the original movie, maybe the original movie is better, but I think that's because it's like it's established itself in my mind as like a classic to me as part of my growing up. Like that was a movie that everyone watched and loved. And I think that if we had a strong lead character, then the musical might be better than the original, but because she just lacked anything, substance.
Well, I think that's a little harsh. I think it's a little harsh on her. You're making out like the whole movie fell apart because of her.
Well, it's like everything was great. Like I just can't fathom. I don't want to be mean.
You're the mean girl.
I know, but maybe it was how she was directed, you know? It might not be her acting, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, my biggest thing with her, I didn't really buy the transformation, but also it was just because her songs were boring.
But they're boring because of her performance. They're not boring in the musical.
She's told to do that.
Yeah. Well, so, and I think that seeing it on stage as a musical, it would be better than the movie. But anytime I think I see something like in person on stage, it's just going to be more entertaining.
What about the Spider-Man musical? Do you think that would be better on stage?
Well... Maybe until everyone started dying. Not dying. I think maybe one person died.
Yeah.
So getting severely injured.
It's okay.
Oh, but she's in Spider-Man. Forgot to mention that. The person who plays Katie.
Yeah.
Angourie Rice is in...
Betty Ross, Ned's girlfriend in Spider-Man Far From Home. And she's also in The Nice Guys as a child.
There you have it. I'm going to say better as a musical, but not this musical.
Okay. Not this adaptation isn't better. Yeah.
It was almost better.
Mm-hmm. I would say I think both Mean Girls, the original movie, and this movie are of a similar level of quality. So I wouldn't. I mean, I liked both of them. So, but if someone was like, we have to delete one from existence, we have to do this. Not that you want to delete one from existence, but one is being deleted, pick one. I'd be struggling because I feel like they're both about equally as good.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have a song and dance every once in a while. You know?
Yeah, especially when it's Renee Rapp. All right, do you want to do one more segment?
Who is the real villain? I've got a good answer for this, actually. I've come up with it, so we're doing it.
All right, who is it?
Katie's parents, or parent.
Yeah, well, her dead father.
Is he dead? I don't think they say if he's dead or not.
I think I thought in this adaptation of it, he was.
Maybe he was mauled by a lion in Kenya.
Probably.
I'm not sure if lions are in Kenya, but they might be. It looked like they were in the savannah at the start. So, based on my knowledge of Africa, of African
geography.
Yeah, I wanted to say biology there, but that doesn't sound right. Because they, I think arguably, you could say selfishly raise her themselves, like homeschooled, but in a foreign country. And it's not clear if she's like been integrated into like a Kenyan community. It kind of seems like she's never had any friends before ever.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder that she starts acting out when she gets some friends. It's even a wonder that she manages to talk to anyone.
I think in the movie it's more implied that she had friends within the Kenyan in the original movie, that she's more part of a community there, but it's just a very different culture. Whereas in this one, it does seem very much like she's just has come from an isolated savannah, an isolated place where she just doesn't interact with humans other than her mom, Jenna Fisher. And
then also the one point of contention they have really in the movie, well, she gets annoyed when she's failing or whatever, but she's also annoyed because she's like booked to do this thing with her, and then Katie is like cancels. She cancels for a bad reason. It's because she wants to have a house party, but she says it's to go to her friend's art gallery thing. And I'd kind of be like, you know what? I probably should have done a better job of. I think as a parent, I would be like more understanding, be like, oh, my child has done quite well in kind of adverse circumstances to move to a new country and make friends. So if she's trying to do something to support her friend and it means she can't do something with me, I'll just find someone else to go with, you know?
But arguably, if Katie had social skills and came to the school, she would probably just become friends with another group, and then Regina would continue to rule the school and be a bitch. But now, since Katie disrupted things, now, you know, the cliques are disappearing and everyone's friends.
That's true.
Maybe the real baddie, in a similar vein, is Regina's mom, because she really enables Regina and has raised her to be...
I mean, obviously, like, her character is entirely comedic, but it is kind of, when you think about it, it is kind of crazy how pathetic she is.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I mean, it is. I mean, she's like... She waits on Regina, like, sort of hand and foot, but then Regina's, like, horrible to her and she doesn't do anything. She's just completely, like, oblivious to that.
Yeah. She is, I think, more exaggerated maybe than Amy Poehler's rendition of Regina's mom.
Yeah.
Although Amy Poehler I love Amy Poehler.
Yeah. Where is Amy Poehler? Why is she not in
why
this?
was she not in it? I thought her and Tina were buds, you know?
Yeah. Maybe she was too busy doing something else.
What is she doing?
Parks and Rec remake, maybe?
Remake?
Yeah. Parks and Remake. Oh no.
Parks and Remake.
Parks and Recreation, the musical, the movie, the remake.
I don't know how good that would be.
I'd have to get a new little Sebastian. Do you have a real villain?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll probably say Katie.
No, I just said it.
The movie. Oh, who?
Regina's mom.
Oh, okay.
I think that would be it. I'm trying to think of other sort of I think that that Katie is not the hero. I think Janice is the hero of the story.
Who's that?
Ali'i.
Oh, yeah. But she is kind of mean as well at points.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
You mean because of her revenge party?
Yeah.
A party that ends with somebody's head on a spike?
You know, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. So revenge is not always, or really not ever. There's no good stories where someone gets revenge and then they're happy, you know? All stories tell you to try not to get revenge because it won't lead you to feeling whole again.
Well, exactly. But in those stories, it's usually the hero trying to get revenge. And that's what Ali'i is doing. That's what Janice is doing. I
did like that song, especially the Revenge Party one.
Yeah.
And I also liked her kind of showstopper song, the like right
Rather
finger
Be Me.
one. Yeah, that one. That was good as well.
Yeah.
And then that one led to sort of subverting your expectation of when Regina was going to get hit by a bus. Because you're wondering when's it going to happen, and it just does happen. Yeah.
No, I thought that was a good one to end on. I don't think it's that sudden in the Broadway show, but I'm not sure. But I did like that I love that song, and then it like ended with a kind of shocking moment. But anything else?
No, that's all from me. That's all from me, folks.
Those were some mean girls. Meanie weenies. Thanks for listening to this episode of Popcorn and Cumin. We are now on Instagram. You can find and follow us at Popcorn and Cumin. That's and spelled out rather than an ampersand. Again, that is Popcorn and Cumin. We'll be sharing some spicy updates and fun little videos and stuff, so check it out. And if you like the show, tell your friends. Until next time, don't forget to have your daily bowl of popcorn.